In 1 Timothy 6, Paul lists some of the specific qualities for which we should be fighting. He says, pursue righteousness, godliness, faith, love, steadfastness, gentleness. Fight the good fight of the faith. Now look at that list of terms. Don't those call all of us up as men? Here's an older man, Paul, looking into the face of a younger man, Timothy, and calling him to take up his sword and pursue noble qualities. That's what we're called to do. We must fight the noble fights and call younger men into the battle for authentic manhood. Remember, though, as with the king face and all the faces, there can be a dark side to the warrior. In other words, there's a shadow side of this face as well. It can get twisted. If you overdo the warrior face, you don't get a real warrior, you get a destroyer. You get a guy who's abusive and harsh, and he hurts himself and his family and those around him. A man who doesn't know when to stop, or a man who's a workaholic, or a man who doesn't value relationships. On the other hand, the other miss, when you have an underdeveloped warrior, you get a wimp. You get a guy who has no backbone, no courageous energy. He easily gives up and he's quick to tap out or surrender. He is way too comfortable playing the victim and stays stuck in excuses and passivity. I call that boyland. Always hoping for and needing someone to cover for him and do things for him and make decisions for him. That's what we saw in Adam in the garden. The warrior face is extremely important in today's culture. Here's why. We got a sea of men who are soft when it comes to initiative, decisiveness, and courage. When it comes time to make a decision, these men are most comfortable deferring. They want someone else to make decisions for them. Unfortunately, there are droves of these soft males today. Most of them are pretty smart and they sort of have it all together, but when it comes to leadership and decisiveness or follow through, they're just soft. They can't do it. They don't persist when circumstances are less than ideal. They crumble and they pout. They quit when they realize that something's a little harder than they thought it would be. The idea of finishing is foreign to them. The idea of working hard every day, 8 to 5, seems to be impossible for them to handle. They think they're still entitled to college life where they have spring breaks and 2 months off in the summer. They show up for meetings late. They don't know how to conduct themselves professionally or be counted on. And it's time to say enough. Let's not enable soft, snooze-button males who constantly defer to others to make decisions and won't take initiative. Let's call those guys up into authentic manhood. The destroyer and the wimp are the two misses of the warrior face. The phrase to remember for the warrior face is fighting for what matters most. The king face and the warrior face, they're the first two faces of manhood. Authentic manhood has to have both. We have to have righteous energy and courageous energy. We must lead with integrity and be willing to fight for what matters most. That's 2 of the 4 faces. Our profile isn't complete yet. In the next session, we'll unpack